Welcome back. You're still watching In the Game on News Central TV, but of course we are now on WAFCON update, talking about the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. What started just about some weeks ago have now got into its final stage after remarkable semi-final matches graced our screens. Now, Cameroon goalkeeper Mikali Behinda delivered a remarkable performance to inspire the Indomitable Lionesses past hosts Morocco, also known as the Atlas Lionesses, into the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations final. Now, after a 120 goalless minutes in Rabat, Bahina produced a crucial save for Fatima Tagnau's penalty in extra time to keep Cameroon alive. Now, she then became the shootout heroine, saving 3 of Morocco's 4 spot kicks as Cameroon triumphed 3-1 on penalties. Her heroics came after she had already starred in Cameroon's quarterfinal victory over defending champions Nigeria. Now, the 22-year-old's composure under pressure has now helped Cameroon reach their 4th WAFCON final, where they will face Mali, and of course their first final since 2016. Let's get to hear from the incredible goalkeeper and of course other players from the team.
I think it's not just me, because in the game we play 11 and we have 26 services. It's a job of all the teams. Today I always give my best to help my team to win, and today was another big game for me. And I think we will continue to work. It's a lot of work because we don't play against big teams. Morocco, Nigeria, they are the best teams in Africa. So play against them is always a big challenge. We try to give our best, to try to find the first place, something like that. And today was a good game to confirm that we want more.
So I think obviously we should never take for granted that we made the final twice and made semi-finals 3 times in the last 3 editions of the African Cup. That is something to be very, very proud of. It's not easy. Obviously, we're very disappointed with the loss. We're disappointed to not make that final, which was our objective and what we really wanted. But well, congratulations to Cameroon, and well, we're going to fight for that 3rd place.
All right, celebrations from one angle and disappointment from another angle. Don't forget, before then, Malawi also progressed against Algeria. They also threw to the first final ever when it comes to the Women's African Cup of Nations. Meanwhile, Super Falcons head coach Justin Madugu says Nigeria are determined to seize their second opportunity to reach the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. The 10-time African champions missed out on automatic qualification after losing 1-0 to Cameroon in the 2026 Women's African 26 Women's African Cup of Nations quarterfinals. Now, Nigeria will now face South Africa's Bayana in the crucial playoff at the Moulay Rachid Stadium in Casablanca, with a place in the Intercontinental Confederation playoffs at stake. All right, Justin Madugu is also saying that the players are ready to give everything and secure victory and restore pride after their WAFCON disappointment. All right, let's get to hear from Justin Madugu, head coach of the team.
Good afternoon. My question is just clarification. You know, this part that we...
My major concern for now is just the tomorrow's game. That's what we're focused on, because you take it one at a time. By the time we cross tomorrow, we get to the next hurdle and then we'll deal with that too. For me, like I talked before, now a big eye-opener for everybody. Make we know, say, nothing there permanent. And God like everybody. God not be partial person. Where we go say now only we where him like say so, because now we be Nigeria, now him man and Nigerian, so every time na Nigeria. He like other people because now he create them too. So if today you say no, not be your own, make I give another of my children, at least we know say he no abandon us. He don't give us before. And not be say because he give another person today, you know go give us tomorrow. So we go see the pray, the hope say it go better for us. Make we go back, just go continue. Because if we begin the verse now, we annoy God now, say okay, because I not give una now, and I say okay, make una go carry him again now. So anything will happen. I still believe, say...
Look, it's not the place we want to be, but we've been given another opportunity, a very big opportunity. to go on a very long journey, but we obviously have to bring our A game. There's no margin for error. You know, the disappointment of losing the previous game is going to probably drive us to get a positive result. It's not going to be an easy game. The two big guns of African football, not where we want to be. And it's one of us not going further ahead than to qualify for the World Cup. So it's a big game for us tomorrow. We know how big it is. The players know how big it is. I'm sure Nigeria know how big it is, but we just have to do what we have to do. We just have to execute our plans and make sure that we're victorious at the end of the day.
All right, Coach Justin Maduga and Desiree Ellis, South Africa and Nigeria. Now, joining us at this time to review and, of course, preview what to expect today. First self is women football journalist and, of course, one who is from Nigeria. Joy Ojabolu joins us this afternoon. Joy, thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the show. Also joining us from South Africa is Tolakele Mganga. Tolakele, thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the show. All right, beautiful ladies, welcome. Let's go straight to business. You've heard from the coaches. One team will not progress past this round. Will it be Nigeria? Will it be South Africa? Joy, let me start from you. From the press conference, despite the fact that the coach is looking at what to explore, you know, try to get back his ladies to get a win, the press conference only looked like as a confident man talking. He's just trying to tell us that whatever we see is just the reality of things now in women's football in Africa. Things have changed. Compared to the Israelis, looking like we just have to get something. But what are you looking forward to later today?
Well, I'm looking forward to a proper match. It's always going to be a blockbuster whenever South Africa faces Nigeria, especially in women's football. The last 3 editions or 4 editions, they've had to meet them at every point in time at the tournament. In 2018, they met twice at the group stage and in the final. 2022, they met once in the group stage. In 2025, the 2024 edition, they met once, and that was in the semi-finals. And this time again, despite not getting knocked out of the competition at the quarterfinals, they are going to meet again, which is unprecedented, and that's because we have an expanded tournament. So it's going to definitely be a big one for both teams. Yes, Ellis is sounding more confident in terms of how a coach should sound, but I always like to look at how rivalries play out on the pitch in terms of how the players react to facing a very major rival. Obviously, whatever is happening or has happened before, when the players get on the pitch of play, is definitely going to be a different ball game. So I'm expecting a blockbuster today. And the fact that this is not a game in which you play and you lose out and you go and play another one. This is a make or man moment for both teams. They've been given a second chance. So both teams are going to come out all gone blazing, despite it not being significant. So what is going to happen at the WAFCON? I mean, there's no third place for them. There's no final for them. But they know that this is a chance for them to continue their journey towards qualifying for the World Cup.
All right. Let me come to Tolakele now. Tolakele, you also heard what Joy said about the number of times South Africa has met Nigeria. But Desiree Ellis has one thing going for her. She's been with the South African team, if I can remember, since 2016, 2017. I was at the WAFCON in Ghana in 2018, and that's how long I've remembered her being in the team. She's been galvanizing the team. She has won a WAFCON trophy for the country. But coming up against a Nigerian side, wounded, they want to get back into the game. They still have quality players in the side. Yes, there are also quality players in South Africa, but it's more about Tembi Gatlana, and maybe you want to talk about Motalo. But what kind of formation do you think the South Africans can put, knowing fully well that other countries have met Nigeria and they have a dream that they can actually go past the Super Falcons?
I think this is one of those games where if you're Coach Des, you're saying, I'm going all out on the attack. There's no opportunity to kind of rest and hope that your opponent will lose their mind or will be the ones that are slacking. It has the possibility to be a WAFCON classic because at the end of the day, these are two giants of this competition. It's a surprise that as we sit here towards the latter stages of the competition, they're not in the semifinals. They're not thinking about the final. Here they are thinking, hey, only one of us is going to be able to represent Africa, possibly at a World Cup. So that is a disappointment. And it's so interesting when you say Coach Desiree Ellis has been with this team, well, since a player, actually. She went from a player, she retired, was an assistant coach when Vera Pauw was in charge. And then once Coach Vera left, she was given the opportunity to be a head coach. And you do wonder that having gone through that whole process, having reached the pinnacle of what is ultimately her career with this national team, is there anything else that she can truly give? The best she can do, if possibly this will be her last assignment as Banyana head coach, is ensure that they still stand with an opportunity and a chance to qualify for a World Cup. But it's also kind of romantic in the sense that it's against your biggest rivals. There was a time where we couldn't buy a victory against Nigeria at a WAFCON, and we just knew that the minute that we faced them, all our dreams would fall apart. For now, both of them are standing here on the verge of going. If this is a new emerging talent in Africa, one of us has to be joining them and the other one has to rebuild. For South Africa, we would hope that we are in Brazil with the new teams and the new faces of African football and kind of creating a new legacy. But whoever does lose this match, the conversations, the rebuilding, the replanning is going to be long and disappointing, because you could tell, especially from the quarterfinal stage, the likes of the Ivory Coast, the likes of Morocco, the likes of Malawi, they're going to want to be doing this for the next 5-6 editions, because now they've had the experience of reaching the knockout stages. They've got a World Cup to look forward to. So there's a lot riding on the legacy of both coaches that are involved, but also the rebuild of both of these national teams.
All right. While, of course, I have these wonderful women already with us, let's now go straight to Morocco and bring in our sports correspondent, Onyechi Obaro, who is standing by at this time. Onyechi, welcome to the show. The Super Falcons are up against the Banyana of South Africa, and it's a make or ma for respective teams. What is the mood like going into this game today? And motivations from the angle of the Super Falcons and, of course, maybe South Africa also.
Thank you so much, Favor. It's a good weather out here in Casablanca. We'll be heading to the stadium very soon because the game is for 9 p.m. where the Super Falcons will continue their hunt for a ticket to the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. The mood as at yesterday when we joined the pre-match press conference, we had the coach of the side, Justin Madugu, and Captain Rashidat Ajibade. Now, one thing is Captain Rashidat acknowledged, and she said she's not oblivious of the fact that everyone is not happy at this time. Everyone feels disappointed. Everyone they're emotionally down that the Super Falcons could not pick an automatic ticket. But she says, yes, we are feeling the same way. If you're feeling that way, just imagine how we feel as players who could not get you this ticket, representing over 200 million people in Nigeria. Now, she has promised that the team is well aware of the task ahead. They know that the 2022 champions of the Women's African Cup of Nations also want this ticket to continue the hunt for a 2027 Women's World Cup appearance. Okay. Like Nigeria. Nigeria also wants it. The 2022 champions, Banyana of South Africa, wants it. But the truth about it is she has assured that they would not fail Nigeria. That might be confidence, telling Nigerians that they would go past South Africa to get into the intercontinental playoff. But from her, the confidence is 100. And the coach has also said that he has gone back to the drawing board to see what they missed. We asked why they are not clinical in front of goals, because we saw how they were not stringing good passes, coherent passes in the first half of that encounter. And he said they've done what they can do, is the players to go execute what has been done from training. He also came hard on the critics who would always pick on their personality. For now, I would say that for the Super Falcons, they understand the task ahead, they know what is at stake, and they are ready to put a smile on the face of Nigerians. All right, Onyechi Obaro, thank you so much. We'll take a pause at the moment to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation of the Women's African Cup of Nations, of course, the CAF playoffs ahead of the World Cup in Brazil. Welcome back. You're still watching WAFCON Update on News Central TV. I'm Favor Ito. I have Joy Ojabolu with us, of course, Tolakele Mganga, and our correspondent who is in Morocco, Onyechi Obaro. Let me come back to Joy. Joy, what kind of setup are you looking forward to today? We've seen different formations from Coach Justin Madugu, but what kind of players are you looking forward to having to start from the defense to the midfield to the attack, considering the blistering form of Tembi Gatlana and her pace going away at the opposite side?
We've seen, and for what we have in the squad currently, I don't think we're going to see a major change in defense, especially if everyone is fit to start. Everyone that has been starting, I beg to say. The last time we faced South Africa in 2025, at the 2024 edition, the back line had the back four of Michel. We had Michel, we had Ashley Plumter, who didn't make this tournament because of injury. We had Osinachi Ohale, and we had Blessing, that's Oluwatosin and Dime. So I'm expecting that in place of Ashley Plumter missing out, will most likely be seeing Shukrat Oladipo, who has been making a very solid appearance in defense since them getting starting time in this team. Remember, she had to start from the bench in the last edition, but after going on to make a very, very great season over there at our club, where she even won the defender of the season and the women's Serie A over there in Italy. Then after winning the league and the League Cup with AS Roma, you understand that she had to be given that opportunity to start, in which she has, and she has done so well. So I'll be expecting to see the partnership in defense with CB, Osinachi Ohale, and Blessing Dime, that's Oluwatosin Dime, and of course the fullbacks in Michela Luzier and Shukrat Oladipo. In midfield, I still expect to see Echejine. I still expect to see Christy Uchebe. These players have put in a very great shift at this WAFCON. Now, going forward, the coach has kind of tried to rotate his front line. Some days look to be good, some days look to be bad. I think the last game against Cameroon was just unlucky for the girls, especially in the second half. And we saw how, I think most people didn't give credit to the Nigerian team, but until they watched that game against Morocco yesterday, where we saw Jelly Beina make crazy saves, especially in spot kicks, and before even the spot kick had to go. So I think that the forward line that had the likes of Rinsola Babajide, that had a very wonderful game against Egypt, a goal and 2 assists. I think that the front line is something I'm not really sure of, but I think that he's going to want to mix experience with youth. So I somehow think that Shwala would be starting against all odds today. She didn't start the last one, but she'll be starting today because he'll be looking for experience in that, and he will also want to flank her with players that have pace, because if you want to go against South Africa, you have to make sure that you're putting your legs forward.
Okay.
And I would want to see what will happen at the end of the day today.
All right, a fantastic one. Tolakele, for South Africa, where do you think the game will be won for the Bayana? Is it the midfield, defense, or attack?
It's definitely our attack. It's always our best option. In defense, we haven't looked 100% great. I think it was you that mentioned that Kaylin Swart probably should have been a lot further back on her line, because when we conceded that first goal against Morocco, it wasn't her greatest moment in the tournament. Hilda Magaya and Bambanane Mbane, rather than Mongenga Kamete, remain our stalwarts in defense. So I don't see much changes happening there. After giving Andile Dlamini that run in that first game, Coach Des has really stuck to Kaylin Swart and expects her to be the one that continues to be between the sticks and kind of hopefully get a clean sheet in this game. Tembi Kgatlana will, of course, lead the line. She's been the star in what has been a rather disappointing campaign for South Africa so far. But I think if there's going to be any changes, similar to what Joy said, for us, it will definitely be in an attack. Lokolo Xesana and Hilda Magaya haven't really set the stage alight, even though they did well the year that we did win WAFCON in 2022. They haven't really continued on in that upward trajectory. So I think if you coach Des, you're probably thinking of bringing in a Robin Mudali and you're bringing in a Gabriela Salgado, just for fresh legs and also to offer more in terms of an attack. Captain Refilwe Jane, we know what she has to offer. I think Linda Mutlo, this time around, she'll also be looking to go a bit further forward, because we do know she is a player that can really make something out of nothing. So this is an opportunity for her to really to step up and make the most of this opportunity.
All right, nice one also. Let's go straight now to Morocco. Yechio Barrow, we heard about the apology from the Nigerian Football Federation to the President Bola Tinubu and, of course, Nigerians. Now, what is the NFF doing to ensure that there's more supportership in the stadium, their fans, or their ways that the Super Falcons can be backed against Bayana later today? How have they also thrown in their support from the NFF and the National Sports Commission?
For now, Favour, I would say we could see that the Nigerian Football Federation President Ibrahim Guzo was at the training of the Super Falcons yesterday for their match day -1. Ahead of this encounter against Banyana, he was able to motivate the girls, tell the girls that they should look past this one and then focus on getting it that continued hunt for the 2027 ticket. Yes, this is not a familiar terrain for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They've always been known to pick an automatic ticket. But he says the champion cannot be champions forever, and it has really shown that other African teams have been able to go back and then restructure, go back and then invest, go back and then make sure that they are ready to make a statement at all time. And that's the reason why we'll be crowning a new champion at this year's Women's African Cup of Nations. Just like the NFF are giving the girls support, that's the same thing coming from the South African Football Association. We could see that they got a call from their president, of course, to motivate them and tell them that it's a hunt. They have to still fight. They can still fight. Just like the Super Falcons of Nigeria want to continue this hunt, that's the same feeling in the camp of the Banyana. They do not want to let this one slip by their hands. Everyone wants to make it to the World Cup, and they do not mind the routes, being the fact that they did not have a fantastic tournament in this year's Women's African Cup of Nations. 2022 champions, losing their first game and having to fight in order to make it to the quarterfinal of this competition. Same thing as the defending champions who were ousted in the quarterfinal of this competition. So both teams, they are running for a hunt. They want it as bad as anything can be. But I tell you, the team that is more hungrier, I beg your pardon, will get this ticket. But for the Super Falcons, they have the General Secretary available, the Director General of the National Institute of Sport, Comrade Schreiber, are available. We saw an ESCO member, that's Aisha Fallo, they're also available at training yesterday to give the girls support, give them moral support. And from the support from the fans over here, they are ready to support these girls. They were disappointed when the girls could not make it to the semi-final of this competition and pick an automatic ticket. But I tell you, fans have said, the girls have always turned up for them. They've got confidence on the girls and are ready to go all out again and will be coming in their numbers to support the girls today when they go up against the Banyanas.
All right, wonderful ladies, before I let you all go, Joy, Amapiano or Afrobeat, which will it be today? What's the scoreline for you?
Definitely Afrobeat. The last time we met was a 2-0 win in the semi-finals. And there's always the thing about re-meeting South Africa in recent times, like I said at the start of this conversation. But we also have to remember that when it counts most, judging by history, the Super Falcons always come up top. Yes, we will get to lose in the first round or that's a group stage against South Africa. But when it counts most, at the finals and the semi-finals, and right now, in the finals of the finals, which has to be the one that gets one of the two tickets to continue this journey, to continue at the intercontinental level, it has to be the Super Falcons of Nigeria. So I'm seeing a 3-2 win for Nigeria.
3-2 win for Nigeria. Tolakele, what's your prediction, your scoreline for today?
It's so unfair. I'm the only South African on the panel. But I will go for 3-1. I do believe that my team, one thing that against Nigeria, we know how to raise our game. And I also think with so much on the line and possibly Coach Des knowing that she faces a lot of criticism, a lot of questions about her position and her role, and some of these players possibly having one more tournament to participate in before retiring from the international side. They're going to be looking at it as their one final opportunity to give a 90-minute performance that puts them in good shape to possibly compete at next year's World Cup. So I'm going 3-0 South Africa, and I will be here next week to brag.
Wow. No, we might not even bring you next week. We'll bring you tomorrow to confirm. All right. But thank you so much, Joy Ojabolu, and of course, Tolakele Munganga. Onyechi Obaro, while you're still with us, just to wrap up the show, we also hear that the Ghana Ministry of Sports and Recreation has denied claims that members of Black Queens are owed outstanding per diems from the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations campaign. The ministry said players are eligible. Officials received their allowances in advance. Now, Onyechi Obaro, Ghana also have a game against Cote d'Ivoire. With all these things happening in their camp, do you think that the Black Queens can go past the Ivorians, especially when it has to do with issues with finances, per diems in the camp? We would have thought it's a Nigeria thing, but it's also happening in Ghana.
Yes, it is happening in Ghana favor, but I tell you that will not deter them. They are also out as wounded lions because they made it with a bronze medal at this competition in the last edition. And we're hoping that they will go do more than get the bronze medal this time around. But they had to be ousted. You know, I did have a conversation with one of the Ghanaian journalists here covering the competition, and he said they've not been able to, you know, put great claims, authentic claims to all that has been said in making the rounds on social media. But the players do not want to confirm that or deny that. They say their focus is on making sure they go past Cote d'Ivoire today and they can continue their hunt for the 2027 Women's World Cup. Of course, that game will be going on at a different venue where Nigeria, and at 6 p.m. we'll be hoping to get an outcome from that. But I tell you, the girls are not deterred. The Black Queens are not deterred. This is not the first time, as they say, that they're always coming with distractions, the news peddling the social media with distractions about them being owed or not being owed. But they say they're not going to talk about that. They make no comment around that, but have their focus on going past Cote d'Ivoire today.
All right. Thank you so much, Onyechi Obaro, for that update. We'll be hoping to have you in again and to join us on the show. Thank you so much.